Introducing a new puppy to adult dogs can sometimes be stressful. Here are some tips to make adding a new puppy to your existing four-legged family a little easier. First, set up for success. Use leashes, fences, gates, exercise pens to ensure that everyone is set up to be successful. So this was our setup for introducing Melody to Finley and Scarlett. We had Melody, our new puppy, in an exercise pen. And you can see I'm mostly focusing on Scarlett. Scarlett is the dog that is the least fan of puppies. So I was rewarding her for noticing Melody, for being near Melody, for going and sniffing Melody. Finley is much more sociable, so I wasn't necessarily concerned about him. And you can see I'm tossing the treats in the grass to encourage them to go sniff. This will help them to take breaks. So here I'm opening the X pen and I'm standing near the opening so that Melody can come out, but the other dogs can't go in. So you can see Scarlett here comes up to the opening of the X pen, and I tossed a treat away from the opening to encourage her to go back away. So the purpose of this is so that Melody learns that she has a spot that she can run away to where she can get away from the other dogs should she feel like she needs to. And this helps prevent dogs from getting defensive. She has no reason to snap or fight back because she has a safe spot that she can go run away and get away from the other dogs, and they can't follow her. So I also have Melody on a leash. You can see she's dragging a leash that's attached to her collar, and this is again just to help manage everybody's interactions. So here Melody is outside of the X pen. You can see she still has the leash attached to her collar, and this is sort of what I prefer my dogs to do. I like that they can hang out together, they can sniff, explore their environment, but they're not all in each other's face. You can see Finley kind of wiggles up to her. Scarlett prefers to keep her distance, and Melody's just checking everything out. So now we're moving on to introducing her to Chester, and this was going to be the biggest challenge because Chester is a lot. So I have Chester on a line as well so that I can manage his interactions a little bit easier. And I'm letting Melody drag her leash and not holding it so that she can get away from Chester if she needs to. And you can see, like I said, Chester is a lot. So when he started getting overexcited, I called him away from the puppy and allowed the puppy to decide whether she wanted to come back to see him. And she said, "I think I do. Never mind, just kidding, you're a lot." And you can see she's kind of going away to her little spot. So now Chester is going up to her and trying to visit and say hello. I call him away because the puppy's in her little spot where she can go to get away from the dogs. So I'm calling Chester away, encouraging him to give some space. Again, tossing treats in the grass so he has something else to go do. Go sniff, go explore your environment. Don't be so obsessed with the new puppy. And you can see his interactions getting much calmer, and he's getting a lot easier to redirect because just the initial excitement of the new puppy being in the yard is sort of waning a bit. So you can see his body language is much more relaxed. He's much more calm. He's checking out his environment. He's making better choices to give the puppy space. He's clearly interested in visiting with her, but he's making good choices to give her some space. He's not crowding her. He's not getting in her face. And so, every time he makes a good decision, I'm going to reward that. So you can see him there, that little shuffle away from the puppy. That's him literally going, okay, no, I'm supposed to not crowd this puppy. I'm supposed to give her space. I'm supposed to back away from her. And he makes a really lovely, nice choice to go sniff and explore and not be obsessed with the puppy. And the puppy still has, her nice little safe space where she can go to get away from them if she needs to. So after a few minutes, we decided to go walk around the yard together. Again, Melody is dragging a leash. You can see I rewarded her for coming to me when I called her. And because she got a treat, everybody else gets a treat too. Chester was too excited to take his treat. He just wanted to go run around. So again, she's still on a leash. Chester's still on a leash so that I can manage their interactions a little bit. And we're just getting them to walk around and explore their environment. And again, this is like a pretty ideal interaction in my book. The dogs are not getting in each other's faces. They're just kind of running around. Everybody's very happy and relaxed. And Melody is way over here at this point. So when a puppy decides that they need a little moment, which they might have a moment where they just sit and stop and watch the world go by. And so instead of trying to force her to interact or force her to come to me, I just went, all right, well, we'll be over here when you're ready. And because we gave her some space and gave her the option to choose whether she wanted to hang back and get some space or she wanted to come be near us, she actually made a really nice choice to get up and come be near us. And that's because we're not forcing her to interact with the other dogs that she's a little bit wary of. You can see her body language there. She's not super sure of what's going on yet. So by not forcing her into interactions, she learns that she has the option to engage or disengage as she sees fit. And because we gave her that choice, this is that literally that same day, maybe like an hour later, you can see she's actually warming up. Her body language is a lot more happy and relaxed, a lot less tense and worried. And she actually chose to start playing with Chester. And because both of them had their interactions really carefully managed and good behavior was rewarded, now Chester's off leash, Melody's off leash, and they're both making really, really, really good choices. They're playing very, very nicely together. So again, by not forcing interactions, not forcing her to interact with him, not forcing Chester to do any particular thing other than just be polite, they start to warm up to each other on their own without me having to really be involved. And again, they're making really nice choices and playing really, really nicely together. This was really, really sweet to see. Another tip is breaks. Give both the puppy and the adult dogs breaks away from each other, especially if the puppy or the adult dog is very excitable. You can give your puppy or adult dog breaks by utilizing your house and yard as separate spaces, using crates, X-pens, baby gates, or just separating them into different rooms. It's important so that everybody can decompress and relax. When excitement is high, that's when dogs are prone to make bad choices. You can give your dog something to chew on, a Kong, or allow them to forage for treats in the house or the yard to encourage decompression. So here we decided to give Chester a break away from the puppy so he could go calm down, and we decided to let Samson out to come meet the new puppy. He's an old guy, so he's pretty chill now, and we knew that he would be an easy one to introduce to the puppy. She's a very sweet puppy, and she's very appropriate, very good with the other dogs. So you can see Scarlett is also away. We let her go in the house to have a break, and Chester went in the house to also have a break to calm down and relax so that everybody could still be successful. Give your puppy time. Your puppy is experiencing a lot of changes, and they might need some time to trust you, get comfortable in their new home, and adjust to their new siblings. Continue to utilize management like gates, X-pens, and crates, as well as breaks and decompression time to help both your adult dog and your new puppy be successful. So after everybody had a lot of outside time to get used to each other, we decided to let Melody in the house and start getting used to the house. We decided to let her hang out with Finley because she seemed really into him, and he's very good with her, very appropriate with her. He gives her space, but he's quite sweet when she wants to go visit with him. And we had them in our kitchen, which is a smaller space, so she could get used to all the new smells, get used to the new tile flooring that she'd never experienced before, and start to warm up to her environment. And you can see right here, she actually picks up a toy and she goes over to go chew on it and play with it. So that's a really good sign that she's getting comfortable, as she's starting to show signs of wanting to play. So again, going back to not forcing interactions, you can see here, we're not forcing Finley to interact with her. We're not forcing her to interact with Finley. We're kind of letting them set the pace of what they want to do. And this is giving Melody, a really good opportunity to get used to her new environment in a way where she still feels safe and she still feels comfortable. I've mentioned it a few times, but again, we want to make sure we're not forcing interactions between the dogs, especially if the puppy is unsure about the adult dog or vice versa. We need to allow them time to come around on their own. The reason for that is if you force interactions between dogs, that can cause more fear or possibly lead to a fight, which we definitely don't want. We want to encourage positive interactions only. So in the same way that we don't want to force interactions with the other dogs, we also don't want to force interactions with the environment either. You can see Melody's a little unsure about coming into this new space, so we let her have some time to figure it out on her own. We kept the big crazy dog that she was a little unsure of stationed away from her, and we had Finley running around playing, and you can see she eventually did decide to come into the room on her own. And that's because we didn't force the issue, we let her kind of dip her toe into the pool as she needed to and adjust slowly. And when she came to us and decided she needed a little bit of comfort, we offered that to her. We want her to feel safe, we want her to trust us. So again, using some stationing, Chester's on his bed. He's very good at stationing, so I opted to not have a leash on him because he's pretty good at stationing. And you can see Melody, again, starting to loosen up and warm up a little bit. Here she is picking up a toy. You can see the tail starting to wag. Finley's doing a really good job of making sure that she feels comfortable. He was very good at helping to welcome in the new puppy. And because we did give her that freedom of choice, this was later that same day, and look at how the difference. She's warmed up, she's playing, Chester and her are playing very appropriately, which is what we want to see. A few other tips: try taking your new puppy and your adult dog on a walk together for their first meeting. That can be really, really helpful. You also want to make sure that the current dog gets some alone time with you and maybe also gets a few extra goodies, since adding a new puppy to the home can also be really stressful on the current dog in the house. Don't be afraid to reach out to a qualified trainer or behavior consultant before you get your puppy to get more personalized help. If you're experiencing any aggression between your new puppy and your adult dog, please reach out to a veterinary behaviorist, a behavior consultant, or a certified professional dog trainer.